Annie. I'm the founder of Wild Maven Wellness, and I'm here just to talk a little bit about choosing a tarot question. So whether you've used tarot cards or oracle cards for a long time, or you're just maybe like thinking about starting, or you just have a toe in the water, regardless, having a really good question can be supportive of any practice. So whether you're going to pull one card or have a spread of like dozens out on the table, it can just help to have a really good question to guide your reading. It helps with interpreting, like, okay, I have this card, like, what am I doing with it now? How can I make meaning out of this? And in general, I use tarot cards and oracle cards interchangeably. I do think that oracle cards do have a place for maybe some more closed-ended questions, like yes or no questions. I don't think that tarot lends itself that well to yes or no questions, because I think you're tapping into like an answer that you kind of maybe already have inside you somewhere. And so I'm going to be talking about forming open-ended questions, which can be used for either type of deck, and any deck within those two options. So when you're trying to be open-ended, I would say a really easy place to start is to ask a question that starts with either how or what. And we'll get into some examples of those. But if I could give you even just like a little formula, and then you should take it and make it your own. This is about tapping into your intuition and your inner wisdom. But if you want something kind of plug and play to get you started, get the juices flowing, that's what I'm going to offer you today. And then I really would love to hear actually where it takes you, and how you play with it. So you could say something like, how can I? And then I'm guessing that you're probably using the cards so that you can find some kind of support for yourself or for a relationship. So then we're going to add like a supportive verb is going to be our next plug-in there. And then let's say you have like a specific area of your life or a specific issue that you're trying to find some support for. Like, how can I, plus a supportive verb, plus the aspect of yourself or your life that you're tending to. And then if you want to add some kind of boundary to it, that can be nice to just be like, am I asking about this like forever, for the next decade, or is this a today question or this week? So then we're going to add on the end a time period. Again, optional, plug and play, erase as desired. So let's go through a few examples that could follow this, and hopefully that will give you a sense of like what you might want to be using the cards for. So it could be, how can I access joy today? How can I incorporate more rest into this busy month? How can I nurture my sexuality during this season of heartbreak? How can I tend to my relationship with my long distance friend this week? What is also a great starting place? And so we could do a formula like what is or what has been as the beginning, and then add like a curiosity or concern, and then again a time period, or maybe this is where you put in the area of your life. Maybe it's in your intimate relationships with friends, family, at work, with colleagues, in your neighborhood, just again to kind of give it like a boundary and a little bit of like concrete sense of like, what am I really asking for? And that will help like support your interpretation of the cards. So some examples of this could be, what is my body yearning for today? What has been holding me back in this creative project? What is a spiritual practice I can experiment with this week? What have I sown in this past season? What am I harvesting now? That could be emotionally, spiritually, relationally. And then finally, if you have multiple cards in your drawing, you may just be pulling one card. Maybe you want to pull 2 or 3 or more. So that could be, how could I incorporate more rest this month in mind, in body, and in spirit? And then mind would be card 1, body would be card 2, Spirit would be card 3. Or you could say, what is a new spiritual practice that I can experiment with this week? Maybe that's card 1. You draw a second card. What is an old one that I could revive? And so you're pulling cards, and then they kind of like, oh, it fell in this position. That is going to be like part A, part B, or part A, B, and C. So these are just some examples, again, to get the juices flowing. Tarot is about tapping into your own inner wisdom, what I often call your inner wild one. And that inner wild one is free from a lot of the shoulds, the oughts, the boxes, the labels that have been put on us throughout our lives. And so maybe that one has some ideas that don't fit with the expectations people have of you at work or in your household, or maybe expectations that you've internalized of yourself, but might feel a little bit freeing, might feel a little bit interesting to play with and explore. So grab a deck of cards. I'll link below. I think the Labyrinthos app is a really good one. If you are not ready to invest in a deck, they can get pricey, but you can find some easily under $20. But the app is great because there's a free version where you can draw, I think, up to 3 cards. And so you can play with it a little bit, get to know it, experiment with it before you start spending money, kind of see what you think there. But I would love to hear in the comments below, or shoot me an email, reach out to me through my website, and let me know how your practice is going.